Hello, 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 and welcome to Courageously Kind. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Liz. We're twin sisters and best friends.
Together, we share stories of especially kind humans doing especially kind things, in hopes that these conversations motivate and inspire you to be kinder to yourself and others. When we're not speaking with an incredible guest, we'll speak directly from our hearts about what it means to us to be courageously kind.
This is episode 2 of our summer series.
This is a pretty exciting episode because we did something so stereotypical summer. When you think of summer, what do you think of?
Camp.
Summer camp. We went to summer camp for about 2 hours, but it was really fun, and we want to tell you all.
So, about a month or two ago, we were asked by a lovely friend we met on TikTok of all places to come and speak on a leadership panel for a group of high school sophomores.
It was seriously so fun. We were so nervous, but it turned out to be just such a wonderful conversation between our fellow panelists, and we got asked some wonderful questions by some of the camp participants. It was really just a great experience. What an opportunity.
It was a great opportunity. We had no idea what to expect. There was about 180 high school students there, and we had about, 4 other people on our panel. So it was really a new experience to have a conversation with 4 people you've never met before. Mm-hmm. I'll speak for myself. I am a big introvert, so speaking to 4 people that I never met before alone was scary. Mm-hmm. Speaking with them in front of almost 200 high school students watching us, even scarier, but it was so fun.
And you know what's funny is I didn't put this together until now, but because we only graduated high school last year, it feels like you're in a room full of your peers, which is comforting, but also very nerve-wracking. We were the youngest people on the panel, which was cool. But yeah, it was just a great experience. To be chatting with kids that, are doing amazing things and could be doing amazing things in only a couple years. So.
It's so incredible. Like you said, we were only a few years older, but these kids were so incredible. They asked such insightful questions to us, and it was so lovely. They were all so lovely. Once we started the conversation, all of my worries and anxieties kind of melted away, and it was a really great time.
In addition to attending camp for a day this weekend, we also are working on a camp of our own. We probably have talked about this before, but we are involved with a camp locally called Peace Camp, which is 4 days where kids can come and learn about kindness, about peace, about how to navigate conflict, and how to grow as peaceful, kind people.
Yeah, so this year is the 30th year of Peace Camp. The 2 amazing people that started this camp, we love them so much. They are going to be guests on the podcast. Don't know if they know that yet, but they will after this video. And we are so excited to work with them like we always do. We attended this camp ourselves as kids, and then we were counselors, and now we're MCs, and it's been so exciting to help plan and coordinate this event. It's going to be so great.
It is. I'm so excited. 30 years. What a celebration. So it's going to be fun. We've been doing a lot of planning for that as well. That's been something that's been occupying a lot of our time lately, which is awesome, and we love it.
Love it. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing. And I say that honestly. I'm so excited.
I know. Switching back to the leadership conference, it was a wonderful conversation. We learned so much from these other leaders in their communities. And we wanted to share just a couple of things that stuck with us that we thought, even if you don't consider yourself a leader yet, there's a leader inside all of us. And we all have the ability to be a leader and to create change.
Yeah, that was a big topic that everyone touched on the panel, is not really realizing that you are a leader and having to kind of step into that role. Mm-hmm. And a little surprised that everyone feels the same way. Maddie just put out a video the other day talking about imposter syndrome, and it's so interesting how we all feel it. Mm-hmm. We all experience it.
That's so true. And I think because the kids that were there were nominated to be there mm-hmm. by their teachers or people in their community, you know, probably a lot of them don't necessarily feel like leaders yet, don't have that confidence yet, but there is a leader in all of us.
Yeah, so we really dove into what does it mean to be a leader, what does a leader look like, how can we step into those roles of leadership. But another thing we touched on, which I loved, that really stuck out to me, was the contrast and the comparison between leaders and followers. One of the other guests on the panel, her name was Mackenzie, and she works for an organization called Fearless. It's a local upstate New York organization that helps those in domestic violence situations. So she's doing incredible work. And when she talked about leadership, and in addition to leadership, being a follower, she talked about how sometimes follower has a negative connotation around it. Mm-hmm. You know, don't be a follower, be a leader. We talked a little bit about being a bystander, seeing something and not saying anything, not stepping up into that role of leadership. But Mackenzie talked about how a follower is really a good thing. And we need to, as leaders, be following good people. You know, we also talked about surrounding yourself with good people, that inner circle of cheerleaders, of good feedback critics. And so I loved what she said about we all have both a leader and a follower in us, and they're not in competition with each other.
I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. I think it's important to remember as leaders that we're always learning, and we can always be learning and following others that are also leaders and also creating change. It kind of gets rid of this sort of binary way of thinking of like you have to be either a leader or a follower. You can't be both, and one is sort of like inherently better than the other. It gets rid of that mindset, which I really, really, really loved. Mm-hmm. It was something I had never thought about until she brought that up.
Yeah, and not to get too cheesy here, but you are the leader of your own life.
Yeah.
And your future and your destiny. You know, you have say over what you do with your life. And part of having that say is choosing who to follow. And choosing who to surround yourself with. So I loved that. Like you were saying, I never thought about that before. Mm-hmm. I never thought about being a follower in that way. Mm-hmm. You know, when I think of followers, I think of numbers.
Right.
You know, and how do we get more followers and how do we, grow? But really, it's so much deeper mm-hmm. than a number. So our little challenge for you this week, it's to notice in what ways are you a leader and what ways are you a follower. But think about follower not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Who do you surround yourself with? In person, virtually, who are you giving your time and attention to? And just take note of that and see how that affects you.
It's a great little challenge. You know, look at your social media feed too and see, are the people I'm following on my social media feed, how does that make me feel? What sort of content am I consuming? And is this the content that I really want to be consuming? Because we're spending so much time on our phones in our digital age, and we have the power to decide what we give our time and energy to. And my hope is that you are giving your time and energy to things that are serving you and are serving your community and serving the people around you.
Absolutely. And if you feel moved to follow us, you can follow us at Courageously Kind Podcast on Instagram, mm-hmm. Courageously Kind on TikTok. We have a Facebook that's just called Courageously Kind Podcast.
Yes.
And we are on Twitter too, The Kind Podcast.
Woohoo!
Love it.
Thanks for joining us. Huge thank you to HOBY New York East for having us on their panel, and huge thank you to Bradley for inviting us.
We'll see you back here real soon.
Bye.
We'd like to give a huge thank you to Anna Waltz Landscape Contracting for their support of Courageously Kind.
Anna Waltz is a family-owned landscape contracting company in Berks County that has served Pennsylvania for over 35 years.
If you're ready to get your landscaping project started, visit annawaltzlandscape.com or call 610-916-7070.
Anna Waltz Landscape Contracting, beautifying Pennsylvania 1 yard at a time.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, feel free to share it with your friends, your family, or anyone you think might like it too.
And if you want to support the show, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really does help. Or check out our merch store at courageouslykind.org. Take good care, and we'll see you back here real soon.